This has improved a little bit in the shallow, so it should be good. Normal thing, new dive, every Friday, new dive site, go down the south coast and literally just jump in anywhere. Have a look at the contours at the bottom, as long as it ain't flat sand, just get in. Can't ask more than that. No scalloping today. Welcome back below the waves. We've chosen a dive site that's about 20 to 25 metres. We'll get deeper the further south we go, but we've only chosen this just because it showed up as a reef on the seabed. We're pretty much in the middle of the bay down near Petty Port, and I've never dived here, not in this exact location, so let's see what's down here. When you first start diving, this is normally the bit where you're a little bit anxious, where you sort of head down to the bottom not knowing what you're going to see, but unfortunately I've lost that feeling now and I just know it's going to be either reef or sand, so it's a shame because I used to get quite a bit of a buzz when I first started, and like I thought, it's just down onto a reef. Looks like there's a little bit of weed. We're at sort of 20 metres now, slightly shallower, and it looks like it's a big flat reef, so not quite sure what we're going to do. We'll have a look at some little bits of sea life. Looks like there's a big sea urchin over there. Randomly, you don't see many of these on the east coast. We're not on the east coast on the shore of Guernsey. See plenty of these spiny starfish. I think we're going to head off in that direction. I think south is deeper, so deeper is better in this case. But the problem is, the further south we go, the further out the bay we go, which means we might get caught by the tide. But oh well, we like drift dives. If we get into too much tide, we'll have to send our delayed up straight away. There's some awesome sea urchins on here. And look at the shape of the rocks here. It's like the Giant's Causeway, like little 50p pieces. This thing is a common sea urchin. It's an echinoderm, which basically means spiny skin. And it's the same as a starfish and sea cucumber as well. And for some reason they all got rays on, and they're normally 5. So that'll have 5 bands on it. Obviously a starfish, most of them have got 5 legs. And the same around the sea cucumber's mouth. You can see 5 rays around that as well. Here's another one, slightly different colour. Basically they hold on to the underside of the rock. They've got little hydraulic legs that move them around. The top bit in the middle is actually the anus, and underneath is the mouth, so the mouth is grazing on all this seaweed, and it's called an Aristotle's lantern. Basically 5 bony sort of almost spearhead like bits that come in together, tear off the seaweed that they're feeding on. Some people call them edible sea urchins, but I think the only thing you can eat in them is the gonads, which has 5 of them inside. So there you go, this is an echinoderm as well. Cotton spinner sea cucumber. We only really get 3 different types of sea urchin. We get the purple heart sea urchin and we get a green sea urchin. The green ones are a lot smaller. We call them lampshades, but the actual correct term for the top part of it is called the test. The purple heart urchins, I've only ever seen one that's been alive. That's out the west coast, and the reason for that is because they bury themselves in the sand for most of the day, so very rare to see them. One thing about the sand around here is it's very dark, it's very black underneath. Not quite sure what that's about. Normally that's through some sort of contamination, but I don't think so in this case. But then again, when you look at the rocks around here, they're very black. There you go, this is a good example. This is the colour of the rocks around here. Not quite sure what type of rock it is. I know the majority of Guernsey's are diorite, So people call it granite, but really it's a type of, it's a diorite. It's almost like a granitite. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what this one is. Plenty of life on the side of the rocks. See loads of nudibranchs. Obviously they're very small to see. Always stop and take my time to have a little look at the smaller stuff. I mean, my eyes ain't the best, but I know what a nudibranch looks like just about. And if there's any other new variety ones, or ones that we haven't seen before, normally let Mish know. She's got the macro camera. Loads of shells around here. There's also loads of small brittle stars as well. Oh, same as me. I thought that was a crayfish then, but it's not. It's just a piece of grass. Let's get a bit deeper. No way. What's the chances of that? We're chatting about purple heart sea urchin. This is an empty test. Or shell. I'm not quite sure what they call them, but you can see it's really dark purple colour. And this one's obviously dead. But this would have been under the sand. But that's what it would look like. Cool purple colour. And they've evolved to have like an elliptical shell and very shallow so they can dig inside the sand. You never go far before you find a bit of marine debris. It's a brick, but that brick has obviously come out of this crab pot. Looks like a homemade jobby. Nothing inside, but look at it. Full of life. Sea squirts growing on it. Loads of sand eels, little tiny ones. Looks like I've found the bottom part of the anchor and Mish has found the top part. That's pretty cool. Probably from a French fishing boat that had come into the south coast to hide out the way of the weather, and by the looks of it, snapped their anchor off. Snapped probably 3/4 of the way up the shaft. I'd say it looks fairly old. Obviously the wooden stock's disappeared because it's been in the water for probably 150 years. I had a guess anyway, but that's quite a nice one. 4 foot wide, 6 foot long. You can see the ringed part of it. It's just up the top. Look at the size of that. Massive brittle starfish. I don't think I've ever seen one that big before. But look, that's the ring, the top bit. It's completely snapped off. Quite weird because I would have expected that part to go on up with it. But look at the size of that. Probably the biggest brittle star I've ever seen. Humongous. I do keep a register of all the anchors we find, and there is hundreds on the seabed around Guernsey. This one's quite a nice one, fairly old and fairly small. This is a fisherman patterned anchor. Like I say, it's probably from a fishing boat. Mish has found something. We do kind of plan stuff, so we said between 10 and 15 minutes we'll send up with delayed. So that's what Mish has just done. Great practice to be able to send one of them things up. Everyone should be able to do it. Should be able to do it with your eyes closed, to be honest. So we're out onto the sand. Those more weird coloured shells. All sorts of different sort of clams. And then we're back onto the reef. So we'll have a quick look around here. We're getting close to our bottom time. And then we'll probably start heading back up. And decide where we're going to go on our second dive. I think we've already got something planned where we're going. Because we're kind of working our way along the south coast. So the next dive location is the next bit of headland sticking out. Big fish then. Not sure what it was. Can't believe how intense the orange is on them soapy stars. Oh, check out that anemone. White and orange. Not quite sure what it is. If you know what it is, please comment. Always up for learning some new stuff. Mish is pointing another one out. I think that's a sandaled anemone. But to be honest, I don't really see them that much. So I'm not quite sure what they look like. But it's got white stripes on it, so it probably could be the sandaled one. It's called the white striped or sandaled, so guessing it's probably that one. Loads and loads of Ross coral around here. I suppose because it doesn't get damaged and knocked off the rocks. So it can grow quite well. As soon as you leave the side of these reefs and go out into the sand, it's absolutely teeming with all these sand eel. There is actually larger sand eel in there trying to feed on them. It's like a constant flow. Here's one now, look. Catching them, so the bigger ones will eat the smaller ones. As we'll come around this reef, the tide is now straight into our face, so not quite sure what we should do. Should we carry on and push through? We'll probably hide down behind this reef to the left. I think it's probably best if we went this way, across the tide, rather than with it going straight into our face. Shouldn't really follow the tide. The tide always wins. Some big fish at the back there, not quite sure what they are. "15 minutes left, so we've probably just about got enough time to have a look around here. Can't really be travelling too much further. This is always a good sign. This is wood. Not quite sure what it is. It looks burnt and charred, but I don't think it is. I think it's just been in the sea for a long time. Maybe there's a shipwreck around here. can see more wood on this bit of reef. Whatever it is, there's not much of it left. Could be anything. It's just could have been a pallet that floated out to the sea. Looks like it's been in the water for a long time. It might have been someone that lost their dinghy out of the bay, out of Saints. I mean, there's no real conclusive evidence that there's a shipwreck. And these stones aren't ballast stones either. They're just general stones on the seabed. Some more wood. Yeah, I wouldn't get too excited. Probably not a shipwreck. It's a big chunk stuck onto that rock. That's the Pokemon of Nudibranchs. Nice yellow one. Then we went back up to the surface, do an hour surface interval, let Phil and Jen get in the water, and then we'll plan our next dive. 40 minutes, it's quite long in the water. Well, legs 11. Not quite sure why both will come up, but I'm sure there's a reason. At least we know they're together, if nothing else. And it's now time for me and Mish to get him back for our second. Phil's been motoring around for a little bit and he's found an absolute spot on place for us to drop down. There's a huge wall that comes up, but loads of swirly reefs. And by the looks of it, it looks like there's the contour lines are really close in, so we know it's big drop-offs, and it certainly looks like it. First thing we see is a big cray and a small cray. It looks like a big boulder and probably a little bit of cliff face. First things first, let's get the lights on and let's go and have a look at these two crays. As usual, the crays are never at the bottom of the reef and never out in the sand, they're always on the side of a reef. But that's quite a big cray. It's a decent sized one, well legal. Well done, surviving the onslaught from the octopus. This is an awesome bit of structure here. Looks like there's loads of overhangs. Really weird looking sand. Like I say, the sand around here seems to be very dark, almost grey, blacky colour. And judging by the patterns in the sand, it looks like the tide's quite turbulent around here. And there's a random sock. Not quite sure how a sock got here on its own. It's only one sock. It's always good when you see boulders like this because normally you get a load of fish. Sometimes congers, probably lobster. Take a very quick look through these boulders. What we might do is head away from this this big sheer drop, head out a bit further south, have a look around there and probably come back to this afterwards. Quite an interesting rock feature because there's loads of horizontal crevice and cracks for stuff to go in. See loads of squat lobsters, olive squat lobsters hidden in there. At one time this was a cliff face. A long time ago though. Oh, I've just noticed something. One of our friends, the octopus. I knew we'd see octopus along here. The south coast, there seems to be loads of them. The south coast, not the side of the east coast. Quite a small one. Looks quite angry. It's amazing though, their little moustache. Looks like a moustache. They put their front legs in front of their face. They're trying to protect their body, I suppose. This is some weird sand. Rock solid as well. You'd think it'd be quite soft, but it's not. Thinking about it, them two crayfish that were just back there is doing alright actually, if there's definitely octopus in the area. They managed to survive, but I can't see any lobsters whatsoever. In fact, I can't see any crabs whatsoever. Our missus has been trying to get a photograph of one of these fish for a long time. See this one here with the red stripe down the side? I haven't got a clue what it's called. Shall I tell her about it? Nah. She'll find it on her own. Let's carry on across the reef now. We're going to head back out into a little bit deeper water. Oh, I know exactly what this is. This is another octopus hold. And there it is, it's inside. Only a little baby. Let's carry on. Going down this little bit of a sandy valley, and I've noticed all this really heavy duty monofilament. Probably a trot line of some sort that someone's lost. But they're gutted. It's expensive, this stuff. Just have to be careful we don't get it tangled around us. Check our bottom time. Got 17 minutes left. Loads of time at this depth. Always have to check in every single little hole. Kind of hoping to see a big conger in there, or a nice big lobster, or maybe a shark, but nope, this one's empty as well. Something lives in there, I'm sure. Some weird shaped rocks around here. Almost look like cannonballs, but I don't think they are. Completely round. Probably because the tide around here has been rolling them around inside this little gully area, this little valley. Plenty of fish right at the top of the reef. They look like pollock, but I can't see properly. I can only really tell they're pollock because of the triangle tails, angular tails. Loads of sponges around here, which isn't surprising because there's loads and loads of tide that whips all the way through here. Quite cool. It's not until you look right in close and you see little nudibranchs and stuff. Basically, a nudibranch is just a slug. They're just eating the bryozoans and all the bits of seaweed and stuff that's on the rocks. Living in their own world at their own scale. Plenty of boron sponges around here. None of them are that big though. And some sea squirts. It's like a clear one here. Not quite sure what type that is. Oh no, he's a little jellyfish. Right, doesn't feel like it, but I've actually swum right around in a circle, and I've used this line here, which is probably Clive Brown's crab pot line. Use that as a bit of a reference because it's sitting mid-water. Doesn't matter to me actually at the moment because I haven't got anything back up to the surface. We will send our delayed up soon. That's the beauty about just doing these locky dip dives. Basically, we could just go down, explore whatever we want to do, and within 10 or 15 minutes then send our delayed back up. so we're not hampered. Sometimes the tide can be running on the surface but not on the bottom, and then you're basically getting pulled along by your delayed SMB. So back at the rock face, instead of going left now, because left kind of tapers out to nothing, I think we're now going to go right, and just to prove that this is the same place. Just above me now is the 2 crayfish that we dropped down on. This is another bit of fishing net by the looks of it. Just hanging on the rock. Slowly swinging. Let's go and have a quick look at the crays. See? It's the same crays as last time. The big one and the small one. So now I think we're going to go to the right, because on the sounder it looked like the right hand side of this reef was the interesting bit. Every bit of reef around here looks like a face. Right about now on this dive, my heart actually stopped. I thought that was Mish laying face down in the sand. The closer I got, the more confused I got. I almost didn't want to turn around and check that she's still behind me. I'm sure she was. Yeah, she still is. The amount of relief when that happened. Let's go and check what this actually is. Certainly looks like a diver or something like that. Still couldn't figure out what it was, and to be honest, I was a little bit scared. I didn't really want to go and check. It's at the bottom of a huge drop-off, a huge part of the cliff. We're going to have to go a little bit closer to see what it is. Maybe it's just some fisherman's overalls or something. Some of their wet gear. Still a little confused. It's about now I realise there's a load of fishing gear around. It's probably an old life raft. But I still didn't really want to have a look in it. It looks empty, to be honest. Got 5 minutes left. Look at the side of this reef. Is it just me, or does that look like the front of the Prodigy album with a bloke screaming? Scary enough around here as it is. I'm going to have a quick check in it, just to make sure there isn't anyone in it. No, it's not. It's well and truly tangled up. Tangled up in loads of fishing gear. And crab pots and nets and all sorts, so I'll give it a little kick with my fin just to see if I can move that cover out of the way. No, I don't think there's definitely no one in it. Right, let's head back up between this reef and get out of here. Still freaking me out a little bit. It's the first time I've ever seen a life raft underwater. It'll probably be the last as well, fingers crossed. There's loads of other weird stuff here as well. There's like half a tree. Where does half a tree come from? Well, don't answer that. I know where it comes from. It comes from the land, but there's also loads of other bits and bobs. There's like this 4-inch plastic, like gunnel protector kind of tubing. Well, now we're to the top of here, a little bit shallower. Probably should start thinking about sending our delayed SMB up, just to let Phil and Jen know exactly where we are. Not quite sure if these pots are trapped or not. They don't look it. Let's pop over the top of here and then onto this sand. Nice sandy patch at the top. Have a quick check in there. And they're not baited, so I'm not going to catch anything. Another big patch of sand. Loads and loads of sand eel around here. Again, the large ones and the smaller ones. It's amazing how slopey this sand is. It's almost at 45 degrees. Sometimes I ask myself, how is it still staying there? And it's not just trickling down. Half a tank of air left. Probably won't spend much more longer on this dive, to be honest. We're down to about 7 minutes even at this depth. Sorry Mish, I knackered that up. I should have been holding it. Probably not enough air in it. It will go to the surface, but that's my fault. Look at the fish up there, look. Huge clouds of them. Why is there no fish around? Why is there no larger fish anyway? All this sand eel. Not one flatfish, not one pollock really. Well, none of any decent size. Really don't know what's going on with the ocean at the moment, because there doesn't seem to be any fish around. Loads of wrasse, but you know, they're not getting caught, I suppose. Can't really sell wrasse. Don't know, maybe the water temperature is just too high. I don't know, I'm no expert. I just know I'm not seeing fish. time we headed up, we've had 2 amazing dives. Felt a little bit scary seeing that life raft. I was keeping my fingers crossed there was no one in it. I was thinking, oh, it's all we need. But I didn't think there was anyone in it. Just scary. Just waiting for Phil and Jen to come up now, and then we're going to be heading back home. It's probably going to take us about 45 minutes to get back home. So I'm right against the wind, but we're also with the tide, so should all be good.
Good Guernsey, yeah.
Hope you enjoyed them dives. We're going to just pick up some random dives all over the place, some proper locky dip dives. Point to the plotter and just dive it. I love these sort of dives. I had to cut so much out of that. So much footage that I wanted to keep in, but it just would take too long. And if you always watch my videos but you're not subscribed, don't worry, it doesn't cost any money to hit the subscribe button. Just tap it. We're so close to hitting 3,000 subscribers now, it's unreal. Okay, thanks for coming along, and I'll catch you on the next tide.